There's a controversy across the American media this morning. It's been picked up by CNN and other media outlets. Images, shocking images in fact, of children flying planes into the Twin Towers constructed from blocks, or small kids posing as figures from the famous Abu Ghraib photos. A series of pictures called In the Playroom has garnered a lot of media attention since its debut in Ottawa last year. And now these images have been picked up south of the border. Surely these images must have been created by a publicity-seeking madman of an artist. That's not what the artist in this case is saying. I'm joined in studio, funny enough, by Jonathan Hobin here in Ottawa. Meanwhile, we're in the newsroom this morning. We see these images flashed across the screen on CNN, and the Americans are quite rightly shocked. So let me ask the obvious question, Jonathan. What were you thinking creating these images that are, when you see them go across your TV screen, across your computer monitor, are disturbing?
Yeah, I think that for the most part there is this element of shock. It gets your attention right away. But I think that the second you start to digest sort of the content and what the intention of me is, you can kind of see that there's something a little bit more than shock value happening, and it's more about creating a dialogue on the issue, which I find is that the media is extremely pervasive. You can't escape these images, and this is a reflection of our culture and how it's shaping the next generation. I felt it was a conversation that we needed to have.
So in your view, this isn't about creating shock, creating hype, getting headlines?
No, if I wanted, I never even approached it that way. This is a project I started way back in 2007. It was a personal project. It wasn't until 2010 that I actually debuted the images when I felt it was appropriate, the timing. So I certainly wasn't jumping at the chance to get my name in the headlines, but I am an artist, and I think every artist wants their work to be seen, so I welcome people involved in it.
I hear what you're saying about creating a dialogue about children and media and the images, but I'm also a parent, and I look at the images, especially of Abu Ghraib, which were disturbing in the original form. And those were shocking images. They horrified a lot of people. And then you've got these kids dressed up with the hood and the jumper cables. What did you say to the parents of the kids that were in those photos? I mean, what did you tell them? I'm going to make your kid look like they're in Abu Ghraib, and what did they say?
Well, I definitely started with a dialogue with the parents. I wanted to be very clear about the intention of the project and what I was doing. I would never want, it certainly wouldn't serve me to try to trick someone into participating. So it started with a dialogue with the parents. They understood the concept. They understood that I wasn't some crazy weirdo. They understood my intention. And they also understood how it was important enough that a discussion that we should be having. I mean, the idea of taking kids dressed up as these horrible images that we've seen as from Abu Ghraib or from the Twin Towers and stuff, when you think about, in that particular image, they're dressed up more as like a Halloween-inspired shot. You think about all the horrible things that kids are dressed up as, normally blood-sucking vampires or zombies or whichever. It's just when you take a child with limited context and understanding and they see the images that are clearly horrible, such as Abu Ghraib, how are they going to separate the difference between that as being something that's socially acceptable to dress as a costume versus something that we celebrate, like vampires and things like that in the media, which is almost just as gory.
Vampires are definitely celebrated in the media these days with Twilight and everything else. Now, I'll admit to you, I saw the images go across the TV screen. We looked you up online. I was angry. I thought, these are disgusting, these are horrible. Then you sent us the information on what you were trying to do and saying that you wanted to create this dialogue about how children deal with these images that they see. And again, as a parent, you know these images are out there. You know that horrible things are happening all the time, and you try and shield your children from it. But it reminded me of the day 9/11 happened. My wife and I were just so shocked at what was happening. We're staring at our screens like so many people around the world. And then we realized our 1-year-old was there.
Yeah.
And we were worried for a long time about how it would affect them. Did you get any feedback from parents on whether any of the children were bothered, disturbed by what you had them go through?
Oh, the kids themselves enjoyed themselves. Like, it's a time,
because they don't know what they're doing.
They have an understanding about it, but it's really us as adults that kind of put the heaviness of it. I mean, kids play guns and parents don't think anything of it. They can hold up to a gun to someone and shoot it, and parents just say, oh, those are the kids, cute, how they're playing in the yard or whichever. So, but when you put a real life context and you understand how they get things like guns and death and murder, as soon as you actually put a real event where you see how they might have solidified that concept of death, it becomes disturbing to them. So, you know, I'll give you an example about the actual creation of the 9/11 image. I wasn't sure how much the kids would actually understand, but just in the process of building the 2 towers out of blocks, and having the kids come onto the set, one boy said right away, "Oh, that's where the plane hit the buildings." Like, and the mother was taken back. She was really shocked. And in that instance, it just proved my point, is that even the mother of the child participating didn't think that the child would understand, and the child knew right away. So it served a purpose.
You started this in 2007. You showed it in 2010 here in Ottawa, or where?
Yeah, here in Ottawa.
Here in Ottawa.
Gallery.
It didn't get a lot of pickup south of the border, and then today your phone starts ringing off the hook?
Yeah.
How did it end up on CNN, on Fox, and all these other outlets?
It's funny. It's another example of how the media is so pervasive, and access to information is just at an all-time high with the internet, the way it works these days. So I had tons of press, and the work had been seen by millions of people, but not really in the States. But then on last Thursday, the images were posted on a blog, and it just erupted from there, and suddenly I was getting calls from everywhere, and last night I got a call from CNN.
Okay. The question that I know a lot of the viewers who see this, and they've seen the photos, we've posted them up, are going to be saying is, I better not have funded that. Did they?
Yeah.
Was this a taxpayer-funded gallery? Or taxpayer-funded show?
No, it wasn't. It was, I had a small grant from the Ontario Arts Council, thank you Ontario Arts Council, which began the process of me actually creating the work. Well, I started the work, then applied for a grant, and I got a very small emerging artist grant. And yeah, but one thing I can say about that is, you know, I have gotten so many compliments and congratulations, and just people really excited about the project, and really happy that we're actually discussing this. So I would say that it was money well spent.
Okay.